New tonight in Dodge County, the focus is shifting from emergency relief to long-term recovery as cleanup efforts continue following Thursday's severe weather. WMTV's Shayna Najawan was on the ground the night that the tornadoes hit. And Shayna, you reconnected with one of the responders tonight to see how the community is moving forward.
That's right. I was in Mayville the night those storms hit, and I spoke with Benny Benedict from the Salvation Army just hours after the tornadoes touched down. At that point, his team had just arrived, focused on getting food, water, and comfort to residents and first responders. Now, days later, the landscape in Dodge County looks different, but the work continues. The 4 tornadoes that touched down in Dodge County left behind a trail of damaged, downed trees, power lines, and as we know, even some destroyed homes. While many immediate needs like shelter and electricity were addressed, Benny says his team's work isn't over yet.
We work with our partner agencies, some of them that can do debris removal. So if we have, maybe some senior citizens that don't have anybody to do debris removal, or they need some assistance, we possibly can help with that. Or we get something from the police, the fire, emergency management saying, hey, we got somebody who needs some help here.
The Salvation Army is actively looking for local volunteers to step in, whether it's helping with food, logistics, or even writing and outreach. There's a role for just about anyone. Live in the studio, Shayna Najawan, WMTV 15 News.